All right, everybody. You should be seeing us right now, hopefully. You may have to refresh. See what happens. We're going to wait here. We had to get back to Google Hangout because we're having some technical difficulties. But let's just see if everybody's refreshing now, see if they can hear us, and then we'll kick it back off. We'll start from scratch, Spence, where we talked a little bit about yourself, all right, once we get this going.
I know what the problem is.
Just waiting to see what they say.
I do. I know what the problem was.
You do now?
Yep.
Well, it's a little too late, silly, because we're over here now.
It's this.
Is it?
It's, remember, it's that USB thing. Whenever I put that USB thing in, it won't send audio over.
Ah, that's right. Okay, well.
Pointing at your head.
Wrong.
See if they can hear us. All right, folks, let us know if you can hear us, and if so, we will finally get this freak show on the road. Can hear Mike W. Okay, you guys talk.
Testing, testing.
Can you hear me too?
Just coming. Can you hear Mike F saying he knows what the problem was? Okay, what about Drake? Can you hear Drake? Give us a little song and dance, Drake.
Hear me? Oh man, I'm a really sexy dancer. I don't want to do that to everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do I sound fat?
Let's see, they're typing. Now just heard Lauren. So we are go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We are live. They can hear us. And unfortunately, we got to use Google, but that's the way it goes. So everybody can hear us, so let's go. So we're going to kick it back off just to let everyone know we have Spence is still with us. He was nice enough to hang tight since, you know, big sexy Mike over there screwed it all up, but that's all right. Well, Spence, let's start off from scratch. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your recent move and what's going on.
I'm a Scorpio. I enjoy long walks on the beach. I got into the industry in 2011.
I can't hear Spence.
May of 2011. Do I need to speak up?
I can hear him fine.
You're killing me. Can you hear me now?
Man. Dude, you're killing us. Why can't you hear him? I can hear him fine.
I clicked on his picture and now I can.
You can hear me now?
Nice.
He clicked on my picture and he can't hear me now?
Yeah, it's all messed up on my end. I don't know what's going on.
All right, Spence, just keep going. He can hear you. Don't worry. If he can't hear you, I'll translate.
Click on my picture and make sure that it's not muted. You want to hear what I have to say, I promise you.
Look, he's got that.
I got you. When I clicked on your picture, I could flip it. Yeah, it's not automatically flipping. So yeah, that's all right. I clicked on your picture and now I can hear you.
Okay. I want to get back to flipping. That flipping thing was kind of fun. So I started in the industry in 2011 as a sales rep for AJ Fernandez, and worked for them for the past 3+ years. And then opportunity came up for me to join Cubanicon in the same role that I finished out at AJ with, which was national sales manager there. And then at this with Cubanicon, we're calling it the VP of Sales because it makes me feel more important. So I've been with Cubanicon since June 1st of this year, and kind of been in charge of moving forward. I'll be in charge of building a sales force to kind of cover the country. The distribution prior to me coming on was somewhat regional, Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, Florida, a little bit up into the Northeast. So my job's going to be to bring in sales guys, whether they're in-house or independent brokers, just to cover the country. And we'll start doing that as soon as probably tomorrow, and do it up until the end of the year. We should have pretty much everything covered by the end of the year. At least that's what the plan is at the current moment. So But like I said, I was with AJ for a while, and I was a consumer prior to that, just with a love for cigars, and my my mentor in the business, as sad as it sounds, was Skip Martin. He was my retailer when I lived down in Galveston. He's the one that kind of turned me on from being cigar a week kind of guy, 2 cigars a week kind of guy, to smoking 4 or 5 a day. And my wife used to hate him, but now she's okay with him.
Well, Skip's a good mentor. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, since you're talking about Skip real quick, have you had any of those big racks of ribs that Skip tends to send pictures out about?
I have not eaten at Style Switch, which is the place that he goes to most of the time. I've had a bunch of stuff in the Hill Country, and the barbecue in that neck of the woods is really pretty extraordinary. The ribs and the brisket is what Texas is known for. A lot of people do good ribs, but the brisket in Texas at some of the finer establishments is ridiculous.
Yeah, I see some of the pictures. It's like, man, a real man can eat that, because I know I couldn't. That's way too much.
Yeah, that gets crazy.
Well, Spence, let's do this, man. Let's go. I don't know a lot about Cubicon. I don't know how much Mikey does, but why don't we just enrich my life? Tell me more about it. Why don't we go over some of the cigars and some of the blends? And also, I want to let everybody know out there that some lucky viewer in the chat room today is going to win 4 cigars today that Spence was nice enough to send Mike and I some. Now I'm going to give 4 away, 1 each of what he sent me, to somebody in the chat room. But you got to earn it, and we'll let you know how to earn it later. But Spence, why don't we go down the line here and talk a little bit about the lines, the blends, and what you can.
Well, the brand Cubanacan is a brand that we recently transitioned our stateside operation to reflect what the name of the factory was, just to kind of streamline the whole operation in terms of marketing to the general public, and to try to make less confusing for everybody. We like the fact that we do our own thing. We like the fact that we have our own fields and we have our own factory down in Nicaragua, and that's one thing that we want to make sure that the public is aware of as well. There's plenty of great brands out there that don't operate their own facilities down in Nicaragua, but we do have, with that comes a significant amount of control when you do operate a pretty vertically integrated company. So that's one thing we wanted to make sure was easier for everybody to identify. So we renamed the stateside distribution piece Cubanacan, as well as had a cigar launch called Cubanacan. The factory and the farms have been in operation since 2007. The distribution has been small, but we've been kind of streamlining our operation down there, growing everything down there. We took on a blender as of a couple of years ago by the name of Omar Gonzalez Alaman, and he was nominated for Hombre Habano, which is kind of the premier honor you can get in Cuba as a tobacco man. And he was second in command at Partagas at one point, and then ended up running the Corona factory, one of the oldest factories in Cuba. He's been at it since he was 9 years old in the farms and the pre-industry piece with his dad. Since he was 9, he's 66 now. He's really, really well-respected guy out of Cuba. Ended up having his own operation in Costa Rica, and then we kind of made him an offer to come over and run some stuff for us in Nicaragua, run our operation down there, and partnered up with him on his own brand, which is the Cineros brand. So currently our current offerings are the Cubanacan line that's available in Maduro, Habano, and Connecticut. The Cineros brand, that line is available in Habano Claro and Maduro. And then we'll reintroduce the Maderos brand at the trade show this year. Was the original, and that was the original brand that the family launched. We're a bunch of families, really, and that's kind of how we've treated this thing. We just want like-minded individuals that have a passion for tobacco, a passion for cigars, to just kind of unite and get a bunch of different viewpoints on whether it be packaging, whether it be the tobacco, the cigars, the blends. Currently, we are the majority of our filler leaf comes in-house. It comes from our own fields and farms, so we have that from seed until until fermentation, until we blend it together, and then we're outsourcing our wrapper and our binder, most of which is coming from Ecuador.
Nice. And what's the price range, Spence?
We range anywhere from $4.75 for a Petite Corona in the Connecticut up to $9.10 MSRP for our Campagna, which is a 60 gauge torpedo kind of style in the Soneros Maduro. So really, really well priced stuff, especially considering just the quality of the product, man. There's you know, as y'all know as consumers, and ultimately I look at myself as a consumer to this day, and I always will. I smoke a lot of other products, so I know what's available in the marketplace at certain price ranges, and between, you know, $6 and $10, $8 and $10, it's just such a competitive market. There's so much good stuff that when you're able to get yourself into the price range that we're at, we're extraordinarily competitive. And introducing this product over the last month or so in the Texas territory, that's kind of my first job right now is Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas is where I've introduced it. The reception has been extraordinary, man. I've had a lot of people taking on the product, and this time of year, it's fairly difficult to get people to bring something new on, with the show being right around the corner and managing their budgets for IPCPR, but because of the price points and because of the fact that the reception has been so good on the cigars themselves, the blends, we've been able to get over that and get a lot of people bringing the product on early. So I've been really excited about that.
Now, how do you see with the cigars that you have now? You said about the Maderos is coming back out. That was released. What was it 3 years
2009,
ago?
2009, I believe. Was it 2009 or 2010?
Is it going to be the same?
Yeah, the blends are the same. The difference is that when Omar came on, some of our pre-industry processes changed. So while the blends are the same, the cigars are going to be slightly different based on fermentation. You could take the exact same tobacco from one guy to another guy that have different processes from curing, fermenting, to blending, and you're going to come out with two different cigars. So there are going to be some differences, but it's going to come from the same fields. It's the same tobacco. It's just the pre-industry piece has changed some, so there will be some differences.
Great. Now, and you said that's IPCPR that's coming out?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with the lines that are out now, how broadly are they available for people to purchase?
I mean, regionally, if you are in the Virginia, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland area, they're pretty widely available. Some stuff into the southeast, in the Georgias and the Carolinas, there's some availability there. We also have our first online guy that took it on a couple of weeks ago. Ron Lazarow at SeriousCigars.com has it. So it's available to anybody, but in terms of brick and mortar stores that are locally located, it's fairly regional at this point. And then we've caught on some other places in Texas and some other places up into Kansas and Oklahoma. So it's growing, but it's available to anybody in the market through SeriousCigars.com right now.
All right, nice. Hey, Spence, let me ask you this. You said earlier when we first started off that you're looking for sales force or individual brokers. I'm not quite sure how you're looking for them, but is there a way that if maybe somebody's watching our show that's doing that and maybe he's looking to take on another line or looking to change jobs or something, is there a way they can get in touch with you to see?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to give that out?
Yeah, they can contact me at sdrake@CubanaconCigars.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And just reach out to me. We'll chit chat a little bit. Send me a resume, and we'll look things over. But we're definitely we're of the kind of slow approach with a lot of things. We really do want guys that fit the culture of the company. First and foremost, we're just really looking for good people, man. I've been on the sales side of the business for a while, and just have noticed there's one kind of common factor with everybody that's successful. There's a lot of different approaches in sales, and the guys that are truly successful at it, ultimately they're just guys that are good people. They're honorable guys that keep their word. I mean, that's one of things that retailers truly appreciate, regardless if you have a excuse me, a gregarious personality or you're somewhat of an introvert. If you're a good guy and you are a consistent guy that keeps his word, it tends to be a good fit for a sales guy. I mean, there's just a lot of different approaches, but those seem to be the things that are the most important.
Okay, sweet. So make sure you guys do that if you're interested. John G wants to know in the chat room, he wants to know how many guys or how many people, I shouldn't say just guys because ladies can do it as well. How many people are you looking for?
We're looking for about 7 people. Yeah. To cover everywhere from the Northeast down to the Southwest. We really, at this point, have very little in terms of representation on a local level. So we're looking to fill a significant amount of positions. We're still kind of in the process of figuring out exactly how we want to split that up amongst brokers, independent brokers, and amongst in-house sales force. But we're definitely looking to bring some in-house guys in based on the things that we've got coming up in the future. In some of the major territories specifically, we're looking to have guys that represent our brand captively. We think we've got some really good products, just based on my limited amount of experience out there selling these products. Like I said, the reception is so good that we think it's worthy of having in-house guys in certain territories. There's just some territories that you get caught up with independents in certain territories, especially as a young brand. A lot of these guys, the good independent brokers out there, they have these tried and true brands, and trying to fit yourself into that portfolio is sometimes difficult to get them to give enough love to your brand. Not to say that can't happen, but it does become somewhat of a challenge when you've got some larger brands that are a little bit easier to sell than trying to cultivate and grow a young brand.
That's what my question was going to be. I was going to ask you about how it is with the independent brokers compared with your in-house sales. And do you see yourself, I mean, like you said, you're a young company yet, you're a smaller company yet. Do you see yourself going all in-house sales reps at some point just because of that point?
No, I mean, me and Robert had this conversation pretty early on, Robert Medeiros, because it was one of the things that I needed to know to decide whether or not I wanted to join up with the team, was kind of what the plan was, what he had in mind in terms of that. My experience in terms of management was with in-house guys. I really had a fairly small. AJ had a few independents out there, but for the most part, we transitioned out of the independents into in-house guys, and it's kind of an ever-changing thing over there. But we're gonna. It's kind of, it works on a case-by-case basis. We have no interest in having an independent broker build up a territory to X amount of sales and then cut his legs out from under him just to bring an in-house guy, because it makes financial sense for us to do so. If you do right by us and you build a territory, we don't really see any reason why we ought to transition out. This business is a relationship business, and if you've got guys that are out there kicking ass for you, there's really no reason to bring it in-house to save yourself a couple of $1,000s. I mean, we've gone over the numbers, and based on what we project in the coming years, it really doesn't make a lot of sense for us to take somebody who's performing well, whether they're in-house or broker, and change them out. So if you perform well, you'll hold on to the brand for an extensive period of time.
Awesome. Now, I guess big old sexy there is being quiet, so I'm going to ask the question. John G had a question in the chat. He wants to know, do upcoming events like IPCPR, for example, put pressure on you to put out a cigar before you think it's really ready?
I mean, that's kind of a broad question for the industry as a whole, I think, more than us specifically. If you were to ask me based on our company, absolutely not. There's no additional pressure. I mean, there's pressure to get it ready for the show, don't get me wrong, because you want to have something out at the show. But when you're as small a brand as we are, and you're really trying to get your name out there, the last thing we would want to do is come to the show with something that's too young, that doesn't reflect what we are as a company. Some of the larger companies that have a fair amount of shelf space already, and they're trying to grab more, trying to replace shelf space that they had that didn't perform well, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they're under a bit more pressure to get something out to the show. But for us, the companies that have been around a while, I think the consumers, the retailers kind of know what to expect from them. So they could come out with something early to the show and just explain, hey guys, this is a little bit early, a little bit young. It'll be ready by the time it lands in September, October, November, whenever that may be. And people will trust them because they've had that brand before, and they understand that never is it going to be delivered to a retailer young. It might get to the show young, but it's not going to be delivered to a retailer young. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that if you're not able to get it ready for the show. But for us, we are such an unknown in a lot of the territories that it would be a mistake on our part to bring something to the show that isn't completely ready, or deliver that same message that somebody else delivers. Hey, we got something, it's not quite ready yet, but here's what the packaging looks like. If you're ready to take a jump for it and try, then we'd be happy to let you do it. But yeah, I don't know if I answered that well or not, but it's kind of a broad question for the industry as a whole, I think, more than any company specifically.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Well, speaking of pressure, Spence, let me ask you this. What pressures, if any, do you feel going from a cigar company like AJ Fernandez, who's pretty well known, to a cigar company who is maybe not as known as well as AJ? What are some of the pressures, if there's any, that you're feeling right now to grow this company, to get the right people, to make this company where you want it to be?
I mean, I think the pressures are lessened to some extent, and they're higher in other ways. So the expectations for a known brand, and mind you, when I started with AJ, it was a relative unknown. I mean, AJ had the CI stuff, the Man of Wars, and the Diesels that were really what everybody identified AJ with. When we came out with San Latano and really made a push with it in 2011, it was a relative unknown in the brick and mortars, and the challenge there was that you wanted the retailers to understand this guy has been around for a while and done a lot of things for other people, but it's a slippery slope when you start talking about the CIs of the world, because some of the retailers take an adversarial kind of look at those large online companies. So with where we're at now with this company, we're willing to take a slower approach, so the pressure really isn't all that high. We just want to find the right people that fit what we're doing. The fact of the matter is, in order for a cigar to move, I was talking with a retailer the other day, Todd Nafee out of ZT's in Oklahoma City, and we looked through his humidor, and he's always willing to take on new young brands, and as a newer, younger brand, we appreciate that sort of stuff. But the brands that he takes on, for the most part, that are younger brands that don't have any kind of regional representative, they don't do well on the shelves. And I don't know what that reason is. I don't know if, to me as a rep, I never really understood how, to the extent it is, why it impacted the sales so much to have somebody that was there all the time. But if I looked at the cigar shops that I was in often, the sales were always higher than the ones I didn't see as much. That's just the way it was. And so with that being said, we've got to we have to make sure that over the course of time, and say 6 months, maybe longer, things always take longer than you think they're going to take, especially when you're taking your time identifying the right personalities and the right fit for your company. But in the next 6 months, we should have a fair amount of regional representation. So it's less of a risk for these retailers to take on our brand, because they do have somebody there to represent it, which in my experience has had a drastic effect on the sales.
Nice.
Yeah, I was reading the question that just popped up. That's why you caught me when I was reading.
You were sleeping.
Yeah. I'm waiting. My headset's beeping in my ear, so it's probably going to die at some point. So then you won't be able to hear me, and I won't be able to hear you. And it's going to be a fun show. Old School Wife has a question, and this is one I was going to ask later in the show. I mean, everybody keeps talking with the FDA regulations. How do you think, if for some crazy instance they would go through the way they are, which I really don't think they will. But how will that impact your ability as a young brand to introduce your new product and get things out there to consumers?
Oh, it'll be drastic. I mean, you know, whether or not it's option A, option B, option 1, option 2, however they're referred to, the processes that you have to go through from a regulatory perspective are going to be expensive processes. So if they decide to put that $10 minimum to stay away from that regulation, to be exempt from it, most people's cigars are probably going to get to that point anyway, just due to the regulatory costs that are involved with introducing something new to the market. So everything that was in the marketplace prior to 2007 is going to be exempt from that. That's under $10. So you're going to see a lot of cigars that are the, you know, known brands, existing brands. A lot of stuff from General and Altadas, some stuff from Rocky and Fuente, and some of the guys that have been around a longer period of time are going to be, for the most part, the lion's share of cigars under $10. So the rest of us will be forced to compete at and above the $10 mark, and it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens there. I don't think anybody that says they know that they know what's going to happen. I think they're stretching. I don't think anybody really knows. When the government's in charge of this and the government's the one deciding what the next step is, we don't really have a hell of a lot of control over what happens. We can keep voicing our opinion, and I encourage everybody to do that, because what's on the table right now, a fair amount of it's just kind of arbitrary. That $10 mark, they pulled that out of their ass. They got no real reasoning, as far as I know, and from questions that have been asked by retailers that have some contact and have some accessibility to those guys. There's really not a hell of a lot of reason they came up with that number. They just threw it out there. So I think there's a good possibility that number gets pulled back to something that we all consider a little bit more reasonable. But who's to say it doesn't change again in 2 years? I mean, I wish if they made a decision one way or the other, I just wish they would give us some kind of time frame on how long this is going to be in effect, so all of us could project and plan our businesses accordingly. We just got a hell of a shot of thunder there.
The heck was that?
Yeah, that's Houston, man.
Woo, baby. Well, that's good. So we're going to jump back, Spence, because I think we might have someone interested in one of your sales position. Rob wants to know: what sales experience are you considering for the sales position? Is it sales experience only in cigars, or maybe sales experience in another field? But Rob wants to know.
No. I mean, I came from outside the industry. I had a mortgage company for years prior to doing this, and a real estate company prior to that. I think I've seen a lot of successful people come out of different industries. There's a lot of good guys within the industry, but there's not to say that there's not opportunity for those outside of the industry. This is an industry of leisure, and as a rep, it's hard to sometimes separate the industry as it is from the sales approach that you need to take. So it can become quite leisurely. So some of the guys that have been in it too long, they've got some bad habits that are hard to fix. And so sometimes it's easier to bring in guys from outside the industry that have a little bit more of a fire lit under their ass. They're excited about doing something new. It's about as fun as anything can get, man. We talked about it pre-show a little bit. Once you get bitten by this bug, there's so few people that I know of in rep positions and in positions such as mine that get out of the industry by their own accord. It's just rare. Most people try to stay in this. It's so much fun. There's not anything else really like it.
Sounds good. So there you go, Rob. Man, you're going to really get hammered there pretty soon, it sounds.
I'm covered. We're good.
But yeah, that definitely gives you an opening there, Rob. So hopefully you put an application in. Who knows? Maybe Rob Green will be the next one we see working at Cubanacon.
You never know.
Hey. Now, with your cigars that you have right now, what would you say is your favorite cigar to smoke out of your brands right now?
Everybody's got their own palate. Mine's just better than most. I really like the Habano Claro and the Corona Gorda, which is one of our newer releases. I really like that cigar. It's just a super well balanced cigar with a lot of flavor on it, and it's in a format that I like. I smoke smaller cigars for the most part, so anything under 50 is typically more attractive to me personally. But the response in the marketplace has been pretty great, regardless of size. But for me personally, that's my favorite cigar. Followed by the Cubanacan Maduro in the Lonsdale, which is also one of our newer releases. That's what I'm about to light up right now.
Yeah.
That's the one you're smoking right now, Mike.
Yeah, it is. It's a good smoke. Has a little more to it than what the I guess is that a Havana wrapper on the natural, or is that a Connecticut?
On
The Cubanacan.
we've got both Connecticut and Habano. The ones that I sent you, I think, in the Rothschild were the Connecticut's. And for a Connecticut, it's a pretty meaty Connecticut. I mean, it's a few years ago when San Latano came out with their Connecticut, there weren't a lot of Connecticut's that had closer to a medium body on them.
Right.
Most of the Connecticut's were pretty light in the marketplace, and you've seen a trend. Not to say they started that trend, because there was other stuff as well, of Connecticut's that had a little bit more balls to them.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I enjoyed the Connecticut, and I'm enjoying this Maduro too. Now, for the Maduro, I think I would smoke it later in the day. You know, like now, like in the afternoon, something like that. I'm just Mike will tell you.
I know. I sent you cigars accordingly, and that's why I was surprised when you were smoking that one. I was like, "Whoa, okay," as I thought you'd be smoking a Connecticut right now.
He wants you to feel that. He wants you to think that he's a tough guy. That's why he's smoking that. Yeah, that's why. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my man card back. You know.
You're not getting that back, buddy. You lost that freaking card. That card's gone. Well, we'll stick with that kind of a little bit. We'll stick with what you're enjoying out of your brand. What cigars are you enjoying that's not your brand today?
A bunch, man, a bunch.
Besides Skip.
Oh man, I got to start there though. I'm at Cro-Magnon EMH. I absolutely adore that cigar. And then is in Temperance, Connecticut. The little guy, I could smoke that every morning. I just enjoy the shit out of that cigar. Fratello's got some stuff out right now that I'm really digging. Cabal by Chris Arofalo. He's from down here. He's doing something with the Kellner Boutique Factory down in Dominican. He's got some. I like things that are different. So there's so many good things in the market right now that I really appreciate when I smoke something. And I've kind of been lucky in a strange way that I've been sick on and off for the past couple of weeks. So I'll go a couple of days without smoking something, and excuse me, there's the sickness. I smoked a Cabal the other day after not smoking for 2 days, and I'd smoked the cigar before, but it's rare that I have 2 days without smoking. So my palate being that fresh is really rare. And smoking that cigar, man, I just caught so much nuance on it. It really, really excited me. But there's really a lot of good stuff on the market right now, man. I smoked a Las Calaveras, really enjoyed that. The TAA smoke, my Crown Heads, really enjoyed that. The Payback, Big Payback by Booth, dug that smoke. Man, like I said, there's just a lot of good stuff. That's just some of the stuff that I've had here recently. I don't know. I'm sure y'all smoked the Tantrum by Ezra Zion. That's a punchy little bitch there, man. That's a damn good smoke.
Yes, it is.
There's a hell of a lot of good stuff on the market. So I try to, I'll always be a consumer first. I enjoy smoking a lot of different cigars. So throughout a regular day, let's say I smoke 6 cigars, 2 or 3 of them will be from other brands. I try to. Most of the new stuff I smoke, though, because in my humidor on a regular basis, I got to mention Dion too. I smoke a lot of Dion stuff, a fair amount of Pete stuff, and a lot of Skip stuff. So I try to smoke things that people that have similar palates to me just encourage me to smoke. Hey, try this. And every once in a while, they'll hand me something that most people I know that enjoy the same things I like. I'll be really surprised and go, God bless y'all like this. But I like to smoke a lot of different stuff.
Nice. Well, we're going to give away right now. I'm going to give away 4 cigars that Spence was nice enough to send me. I kept 4 to smoke and enjoy myself. I just smoked 1. I'm going to give away this 4-pack right here to one lucky person in chat room. Spence, I'm going to make it as easy as I can. And pick a number 1 through 4, Spence.
All right.
They say 5.
I said all right.
That would have been great.
All right, number 5. Oh, that's me. I win. Thank you, Spence. Go ahead, Spence. Pick one. That's who's going to win it. We're going to make it easy.
Number 3.
Number 3 would be Old School Wife. You are the winner. Congratulations. Old School Wife, you could probably just tell Mikey when you see him, or just email MikeW@Stogie411 your address, and I'll send them out. Congratulations. So to that, I hope you enjoy them, because I've already enjoyed the first one I had. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean they're really good so far, and I'm curious about the Soneros. I actually found one of those. I had one in my humidor.
Oh, really?
And I honestly don't know where it came from, how long I've had it, or anything else, but I'm curious to give them a shot.
I was in your house the other day.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, I just had to bite my tongue, because I was going to go back to what we were talking about in the pre-show, and I was like, no, your tongue, shut up. And Spencer's laughing because he remembers what we were talking about, but that's cool. So yeah, congrats to Old School Wife. She says she never wins anything, and she won, and now a wonderful lady's going to get to try your brand, and we'll find out what she thought. So
enjoy them, Don. Enjoy them.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, yes, Rob Green asked, hinted at, I said about like Connecticut for morning, and the morning afternoon smoke, and Maduro might be midday evening smoke, and he asked, have you mashed your sticks with any foods or spirits? And I'm pretty sure Spence has, and I have, Mike has. I mean, everybody has. And it really takes. You really have to know what your taste preference is, I believe, in order to get that pairing just right. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Spence?
I mean, I've challenged myself for the past few years. I drink more margaritas than I should probably admit, but I can't find a single cigar in the marketplace that I can pair with a margarita. I love margaritas, and I just can't find anything that I like. And I thought maybe it was the citrus, but then I'll drink a mojito, and I can pair just about everything with a mojito. So I think it might be the salt or something, but I can't find anything to pair. Or maybe the orange juice. That's how I make my margaritas. But for the stuff that we have out, the Soneros Maduro, I drink dark beer with that, like an imperial stout, something that's got a little bit of balls to it. That's not a lighter stout, but something that's kind of got that alcohol backbone to it. I really enjoy that pairing. With the Soneros Habano Claro, you can drink a lot of stuff with that, because it's a very approachable cigar. There's some nicotine to it, but it's just a very well blended, balanced cigar. In the Cubanicon line, coffee with the Connecticut, and I know that's kind of a cliche, but I really enjoy coffee with a good meaty Connecticut, something that can stand up to the strength of the coffee that I like to drink, because I typically drink coffee black or drink cafecito, Cuban style. But yeah, there's a lot of that's taste preference, just like with cigars. I mean, you figure out what it is your particular palate likes, and just try a bunch of different things. That's always what I recommend to people that are getting into cigars or getting into pairings, is just experiment and try different stuff, because everybody's palate's different.
Nice. Well, Spence, let me ask you this. We know IPCPR is coming up. You kind of hinted earlier to you're excited about some new things. I know you said you couldn't go into details, but maybe you could tell us, is it one blend, 2 blends you might be coming out with, a couple blends? Is there a little tidbit you can give us?
There'll be one new blend coming out.
One new blend. And that's all we're going to get, folks. That's it. Spence is true to his word. I give him that. He said, I ain't going to tell you anything, but we got one new blend. But from talking to you, you sounded pretty pumped up. I mean, it sounds like you're pumped up about this new venture. You sound like you're pumped up on where you're looking to take the company. And, you know, it sounds like a good adventure for you right now.
Yeah, we're really excited about what's ahead of us. It should be something that's out there in the next couple of weeks, so most people will know about it then. But it's a really exciting thing for us, just bringing in some, you know, another mind and somebody else involved in the industry that'll have some influence over the direction of the company. So, like I said earlier, we're just really we're a bunch of or a few different families that all have a real passion for what it is we're doing, and we really like the family atmosphere. That was one of the things that drew me to this company outside of the tobacco. I mean, the first thing that happened was Lawrence. I ran into Lawrence in Florida. Lawrence is our marketing guy and our brand ambassador. He's the pretty face of the company that you should probably be interviewing instead of me. But I ran into him.
We tried. His agent wouldn't let us talk to him.
Yeah, no, I understand. He's hard to get to. Ran into him at Smoke on the Water down in Weston, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I just love hanging out there. We hung out and handed me something to smoke, and I really, at that point, this was as of maybe 2.5 months ago. He handed me something to smoke, and as soon as I lit it up, like within the first half an inch, I was like, wow. You could just taste the depth on the fermentation, and the depth of flavors. Just was something I was really surprised by. You know, unknown brands, and at the time I had no idea what the extent of the vertical integration was with the company. I didn't know. You know, there's so many new brands popping up here and there that, you know, it's, if I haven't heard of it, and if it's a new brand, more than likely somebody else is manufacturing it, and I don't know. I just haven't had a hell of a lot of luck with the stuff. So when I lit it up and was blown away by it, and then I had the opportunity to meet Robert a few days later, and we got to chit-chatting about the company and about what he saw for the future of the company, and how he had handled things in the past. Just was like serendipitous, man. I had just kind of, me and AJ had just decided to part ways, so it was like I said, serendipitous. Just the fit seemed so good from both of our perspectives. We were really excited about what the future held, and so we're adding another family to the brand. We'll have another brand come out that'll be a different family that we're really excited about partnering with.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think the brand portfolio that you're doing right now is interesting in itself, and as you keep expanding it, I think it's going to reach more and more people. I guess the biggest challenge now is, like you said, you're looking for salespeople. You know, you have to increase your force to get the names out there and to get the product in the stores now, so people can actually get their hands on it and give it a try.
Yeah, and that's, you know, having multiple brands, trying to expand into different territories that are pretty unfamiliar with us as a company is challenging, but we really, like we talked about, the price points are so reasonable on everything that we've got. It makes it a little bit more approachable for a lot of retailers. They're willing to take a chance on something that they might not necessarily have heard about. It's just, most of the stuff that pops on the market these days is closer to the $9 to $10 range, and us having control over our cigars from seed to cigar allows us to keep our price points a little more aggressive than most people can. So I think that's a serious competitive advantage for us that we're going to exploit.
Nice. Well, it's almost that time for us to say goodbye to Spence. But hey, Spence, is there anything, before we ask you the ultimate question, is there anything you want to touch base on that maybe we missed, we didn't touch? We want to make sure we give you, get everybody as much information about your blends. And one thing I will say, my first experience, and everybody knows me, I can tell how it is. My first experience with smoking Cubicon, your line is it's been very, very pleasurable. I actually enjoyed the cigar very, very much. So.
No, I mean, I just if we're talking to retailers, talking to consumers, anybody really, I want people to give it an opportunity. That's really, as a consumer, that's how I approach everything. If somebody tells me, hey, you got to try this, or if I see the guy, somebody on your show, like I saw Rodrigo on your show, and that was one of the first times I went out and smoked a Rodrigo. So just give it an opportunity, see if it fits your flavor profile, and most of us guys that are into this, like we are on a consumer level, we smoke a lot of different things, and things enter and leave our lineup, so to speak. So just see if it fits in, and see if you can fit it into your lineup, and give us an opportunity. Like we're a young, family-oriented business, and we do things the right way. One of the things that we're doing currently is that's kind of old school Cuban, is every single vitola is rolled by no more than 2 pair. So the consistency that's associated with doing it that way is great. I mean, I've smoked a bunch of them over the last 2.5 months, and I haven't had any consistency draw issues, anything like that. The blends have been very, very consistent. So just a company that takes the kind of approach we do, I just hope that it's appreciated in the industry. We do it small, we do it right, and we're going to try to avoid as much as we can the growing pains associated with growing as fast as we hope to grow in the next 6 to 12 months. So we're going to make sure that first and foremost that the consistency of our cigars is maintained at a certain level to keep the brand where we want it to be. If we try to keep up with the growth we expect, and we're finding it challenging regarding the production, then people are just going to have to understand that we're going to grow this somewhat slowly. We're not going to take on every retailer. We're going to take on retailers that we feel are the right fit for us, and so it helps when you have retailers that hand sell cigars, especially when you have a brand that's unknown in a territory, in a region. If the retailer loves the stick, they're going to drive their guys to it. Specific guys to specific vitolas and blends based on what it is they smoke. We're not a great cigar for the shop that you walk into the humidor and wander around for 45 minutes and can't get anybody to help you. You can get lost in that shuffle pretty easily. So one of the things that we've tried to identify as a manufacturer and a brand is shops that are a really good fit for us, and that's one of the things that does that. I mean, we've gotten a lot of retailers and managers and guys that are the hand salesmen of cigars in love with the sticks. So that's how we've had the success we've had in a pretty short period of time in some of the newer regions.
Nice.
Very good.
All right. Well, guess what, Mikey? You're going to have the honors of killing Spence, so take it away.
All righty. Here's a good part of the show, Spence. Now, our viewers in the chat room have come up with this question back right after we first started the show, almost 3 years now. And we're going to kill you. You are on your deathbed. What would be the last cigar and size of that cigar that you would smoke?
Last cigar.
Last fight total.
Yep. And then you're gone.
Man, I want to stay on for a while, so I'm going to think about this.
All right, that's all right.
Gosh, that's a tough one. What have I eaten?
Whatever you want to eat, your last meal. It's like prison, Spence. It's your last meal, brother, before you take that wall.
Did you do a background check before you got me on?
Yes, we did.
Man, I would probably, I'm going to remove my brand from it, because that just, is conflict of interest, so to speak. So, man, I'd probably be smoking that Cro-Magnon EMH. I love that stick. It'd be a steak dinner or barbecue, skip style, and the Cro-Magnon EMH. That's just an amazing blend. I think Esteban and Skip and Mike did such an extraordinary job with that cigar, and it's been consistent over the years. I dig the shit out of it. That or an Illusion MJ12. I mean, those two cigars in the natural are the two cigars I probably smoke the most outside of my line. And the strange thing about it is, from a Vitola perspective, both of them are larger than most of the stuff I smoke regularly. But the blends in those particular sizes, I just think are absolutely beautiful for my palate.
Nice.
Yeah, and then you can have one of those big Skip barbecue pictures like he puts up on Twitter all the time because you won't care. You're going to be dead anyway.
It's true. That's true. He's not going to be with us long, but we enjoyed his time.
All right. Well, Spence, hey, listen, brother. We appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with us, man. We really do. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you. We'll have a link up here to Cubicon to their website. We'll also have a link up here to Spence's Twitter. Make sure you follow him, and definitely go out, give the cigar a try. Try every one in the line. I so far, like I said, I've only had one. I'm nowhere near disappointed at all. Actually, I really dug it, and I'm looking forward to trying the other ones. Old School Wife, we'll get that package out for you. I hope you enjoy it as well. And Spence, definitely stay in touch. Maybe the next time we get you and Lawrence back on, and good luck with finding the right people that you're looking to find.
Appreciate it. And like I said before, sdrake at CubanaConCigars.com is the way to reach me in case there's anybody out there interested in any kind of position with us. I'd be happy to correspond with you, look over resumes, stuff like that. I appreciate the time, guys. I appreciate you guys taking on some smaller brands, getting us known out there. And if anybody needs the cigar and they don't have access to it on a local level, SeriousCigars.com is carrying almost everything we've got. So they've got a really large selection.
All right. No, the pleasure was all ours, man, for sure.
Definitely.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
We will talk to you soon, brother. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
Anytime.
See you, Spence.
All right. Well, that was Spence Drake from Cubicon. Thanks for everybody. Sorry for all the aggravation in the beginning. You know, I hate to blame the hippie, but it was the hippie's fault again.
Yeah, it was my fault when I switched the headset. I totally forgot about the USB problem. And it's just
screwed it up. But anyways, thanks to everybody in the chat room. We won't be here for the 4th of July weekend, so make sure you all have a safe, happy 4th of July. Smoke some good cigars. Throw away the bad ones. And enjoy yourself with your family, because that's what's more important. And I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. I want to thank my partner in crime for all he does. And I guess that's it. We'll see everybody on, what, July 12th, is it? I think 12th.
I think so. I don't know. Are you thanking me for all the screw ups I do? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Hey, listen. You know, that's what makes Stogie411 Stogie411. Because if we didn't start late, everybody would think something was right, and we knew what the hell we were doing. And we obviously don't. So you know, it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see everybody.
July 12th. Yep.
It's July 12th with Kurt Kendall. We'll be back July 12th with Kurt Kendall. So make sure you join us then. Thanks again, and that's all I got. You got anything, hippie?
Nope, that's it. See you all later.
All right, bye.